Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of October 3, 2024. I'm your host, Sharifa Muhammad MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an Infantry Officer. Ukrainian casualties and equipment losses. Ukrainian forces suffered significant casualties and equipment losses in various regions. These include hundreds of servicemen killed or wounded, destruction of infantry fighting vehicles, tanks, armored vehicles, howitzers, and electronic warfare stations, as well as losses in unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, and counter-battery warfare stations.
Welcome to Frontline Updates podcast, where we dive deep into the latest updates from global military operations. Today, we're honored to have Colonel A.C. Oguntoye with us, an infantry officer responsible for leading ground missions and combined armed forces during critical operations. Colonel Oguntoye will provide a detailed update on the progress of the special military operation as of October 3, 2024. Welcome to the show, Colonel.
Thank you for having me.
Colonel, let's jump straight into it. Can you give us an overview of what's currently happening in the special military operation, specifically what took place on October 3, 2024?
The Russian armed forces continue their special military operation on multiple fronts. The key objectives remain the defeat of Ukrainian armed forces formations and the destruction of their infrastructure, including UAV production and energy facilities that support their military actions. On October 3rd, operations took place across several regions, with notable gains in areas like Kharkiv, Donetsk, and Zaporizhia. Our forces inflicted significant losses on Ukrainian military personnel and equipment while repelling multiple counterattacks.
Let's break it down by regions. Starting with the Kharkiv region, what actions were taken and what were the outcomes?
In the Kharkiv region, the North Group of Forces engaged Ukrainian units, specifically the 57th Motorized Infantry Brigade and the 92nd Airborne Assault Brigade, among others. The fighting occurred around the settlements of Maly Prokody, Lipsy, and Volchansk. Our forces were successful in defeating these formations, resulting in the loss of up to 145 Ukrainian servicemen. We also destroyed various Ukrainian assets, including an armored combat vehicle, a 152mm D-20 gun, and an Anklavin electronic warfare station. Additionally, we took out a UAV production workshop and a storage warehouse for their drones.
That's a substantial victory. Now, the West Group of Forces also reported actions. Can you tell us more about their objectives and achievements?
Yes, the West Group of Forces took more advantageous positions while defeating Ukrainian manpower and equipment. They engaged several Ukrainian brigades, including the 44th Mechanized and the 3rd Assault Brigades, around key locations such as Kupiansk, Novosinovo, and Torskoy. They successfully repelled 3 counterattacks, which resulted in the loss of 400 Ukrainian servicemen. Additionally, several pieces of critical Ukrainian equipment were destroyed, including 155mm howitzers made in the USA and UK, as well as multiple Anklavin electronic warfare stations and counter-battery stations.
It sounds like counterattacks are a significant challenge. You mentioned counterattacks earlier. How many were faced, and how did Russian forces manage to repel them?
Indeed, counterattacks are a constant challenge in such operations. On October 3rd, across multiple regions, our forces repelled over 14 counterattacks in total. For example, in the Donetsk People's Republic, our South Group of Forces repelled 3 counterattacks from Ukrainian assault groups. The Ukrainian forces involved included the 24th Mechanized Brigade and the 81st Airmobile Brigade. Despite their efforts, we maintained our positions and inflicted heavy casualties on their personnel, with their losses exceeding 720 servicemen.
In the South region, what strategic advances were made?
Our Southern Group of Forces improved their tactical position while dealing heavy losses to Ukrainian formations in and around Seversk, Kramatorsk, and other areas. In total, Ukrainian forces in this region lost over 720 servicemen, in addition to multiple pieces of heavy equipment such as infantry fighting vehicles, self-propelled artillery, and several howitzers. Moreover, an assembly shop for UAVs and another Enclavin electronic warfare station were destroyed, which will likely hamper Ukraine's operational capabilities moving forward.
That's quite the scale of destruction. Moving on to the center group of forces, how did they contribute to the offensive?
The center group continued advancing into the depths of Ukrainian defenses. They primarily focused on defeating units from several Ukrainian mechanized, tank, and airborne assault brigades in areas like Dzerzhinsk and Krasny Yar within the Donetsk region. The enemy suffered losses of up to 615 servicemen, along with tanks, armored vehicles, and anti-tank guns. We also repelled 8 counterattacks in this sector, inflicting further damage on their assault groups.
There's a lot happening simultaneously. How about the East Group of Forces?
The East Group made progress along the front lines, targeting the 72nd Mechanized and 58th Motorized Infantry Brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. They repelled 2 counterattacks in the areas of Dobrovolye and Zoloteya Niva. In this region, the enemy lost around 130 servicemen, and we destroyed critical equipment, including 2 French-made Caesar 155mm howitzers.
Colonel, one of the notable aspects of your briefing is the reported destruction of UAV facilities and energy infrastructure. Can you elaborate on the strategic importance of these targets?
The destruction of UAV production workshops and storage facilities is a crucial part of our strategy. UAVs play a significant role in modern warfare, particularly for reconnaissance and precision strikes. By dismantling their production capabilities, we limit the Ukrainian armed forces' ability to gather intelligence and carry out offensive operations. In addition, we targeted key energy infrastructure that powers Ukrainian military activities. Disabling these facilities disrupts their ability to sustain prolonged military actions, which is vital in weakening their operational tempo.
And finally, what role has air defense played during these operations?
Air defense has been critical in protecting our positions from Ukrainian missile and UAV attacks. On October 3rd, our systems successfully intercepted and destroyed 4 ATACMS tactical missiles, 5 HIMARS rockets, and 144 UAVs. This not only ensures the safety of our forces on the ground, but also hinders Ukraine's ability to strike deep into our positions.
In conclusion, Colonel Oguntoye, what's next for the operation? And what should we be watching for in the coming days?
We will continue to press forward with our operations, strengthening our positions and inflicting damage on Ukrainian forces. The next phase will likely focus on consolidating our gains, repelling further counterattacks, and continuing to disrupt Ukraine's military infrastructure. The conflict is ongoing, and we'll maintain the momentum we've established.
Thank you, Colonel. Lastly, did Iran hit an Israeli military base or not?
The strike did take place, and the Iranians were not lying in this regard. Traces of 5 missile impacts were recorded on satellite images. But there are some subtleties. For example, only a part of the image of the southeastern part of the airbase was published, while the entire facility is quite large and no satellite operator is currently providing a full picture, which is extremely strange, especially given Israel's claims of no damage. Considering that one of the missiles hit a hangar for fighter jets, we could be talking about damage to at least 1 aircraft. There is also a version being actively discussed that the hangars through which the aircraft landed at the Nevatim airbase were not used for F-35I fighters, but for Gulfstream G550 Sima Shavit electronic reconnaissance aircraft. If the loss of aircraft of this type is confirmed in the future, Israel will have to, at least partially, rely on target designation by NATO aircraft.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for having me. It's crucial to keep everyone informed about the latest developments. The Israeli military on Thursday warned people to evacuate a city and other communities in southern Lebanon that are north of a UN-declared buffer zone, signaling that it may widen a ground operation launched earlier this week against the Lebanese. Israel has told people to leave Nabatee, a provincial capital, and other communities north of the Litani River, which formed the northern edge of the border zone established by the UN Security Council after the 2006 war.